2 of the lesson, Ritu crept up to the window. Lali was sitting a little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring, her elbows jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the bony figure of the music master. He had mostly bald head with a fringe of oiled black hair falling around his ears and an old-fashioned tuft. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck, and a diamond ring glittered on his hand as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out from beneath his gold-bordered waisty edge, and he was beating time on the floor with the scrawny big toe. He played a few notes. Lali stumbled behind him on her violin, which looked quite helpless. And unhappy in her hands. What a difference! The music master notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of a train fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along. As Ravi said, Ritu stared at that huge bee-ringed hand moving effortlessly up the violin stem, making lovely music. Squawk! There was Lali derailing again. Amma! Came a wail from the gate. Amma! Oh! Ravi, sent that beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda where she was chatting with Tapi. He has been coming here every day for the past week, and it's time he found another house to beg from, Pati explained to Tapi. Ritu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze while he waited for the ants to appear. Go away, said Ravi sternly. My Pati says it's time you found another house to beg from. The beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children one by one. The ladies of this house, he said at last, in a voice choked with feeling, and are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together on their generosity for a whole week. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. He raised his voice. Amma, Amma, oh, said his wail might be, but it certainly wasn't feeble. It began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth with its few remaining teeth stained brown with beetle chewing. Ravi, tell him there is nothing left in the kitchen, called Rukumani, and is not to come again. Tell him that. She sounded fed up. Ravi didn't have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear there under the neem tree. The beggar sat up and sighed.